Hi, I'm Brock.
And I'm Tay.
And this is our life update. We are in Leavenworth, Washington, which looks like an old German village. We're here to go snowcatting, and we're here because it's my birthday on Monday. And we actually booked this last year, but then it got rained out, so then they postponed until this year.
How old are you going to be?
26,
Woo!
which is weird. We should probably tell them why you're in a hammock in the middle of this hotel room.
So these hotels, I think they're called Loge camps, but it might be Loge. It's Loge. But anyway, they're very outdoor focused. They have gear rentals. They're very community oriented. And so they have these little tiny rooms, but they put hammocks in the rooms because, like I said, they're outdoor focused. They give you like this gear that you can borrow. And it's just like a really fun, unique place to stay. And so I'm just taking advantage of the hammock. As you know, we spent a majority of January, all of February, and the majority of March in the trailer. It was our last winter full-time in the trailer because we bought a house. Our first winter we spent traveling every weekend, and then the last 2 winters in the trailer full-time just so we could snowboard. It might make sense for us to buy a house so that we can just snowboard and live there instead.
Plus, Utah is so gorgeous. The taxes are a lot better than being in California and being self-employed. That really matters to us. Being in the snow is something that we've always dreamed of.
Yeah, and it's driving distance from family, and when we have kids, where we live might change, but for now we have the freedom to live in Utah and save a little bit of money, so we figured why not. We would like to spend the summers in California, maybe at like a long-term Airbnb or something like that, but we'll see.
Also, as of right now, we still own the trailer. We still have the trailer, and actually, we've reconsidered our plans. We originally thought that as soon as winter ended, we would be like selling it and just getting rid of the trailer. But we realized that we've never really spent warm months in the trailer because last summer, which was our first summer with the trailer, we spent the whole summer traveling and or getting ready for the wedding.
Yeah.
So we're thinking we might keep it for the summer and do some summer trips and some summer camping. So we asked you on our Instagram stories if you have any questions about our life, and by far the majority of the questions were relating to our house that we just bought, which makes sense because everyone's curious. So of course, we want to protect our own privacy and we want to be discreet, but also we're excited and we want to tell you as much as we can right now.
Yeah, we don't want to give away anything like identifying about the house, but we're going to tell you what made us fall in love with it, what we were looking for, what our plans are, and all of that. So we started thinking about buying a house in Utah over the summer, and we were like, okay, well, let's live in the trailer, see how we like it. Fortunately, we were able to live there for 2.5 months, and that gave us a really solid idea if that's a place that we want to live. But I started paying attention to the housing market in like November, just kind of keeping my eyes open. The market's definitely slowed down a little bit. It gets super slow in the winter. In January, we went and saw a ton of houses. And then we were just taking our time. Nothing was really selling, so we were just kind of like waiting it out, seeing if prices would continue to drop, and so we could like use that to our advantage.
And it was really cool because during this time we saw about 9 to 10 homes, and we got to see a lot of the homes that we liked multiple times. We got to see them with my parents when they came to visit, and we even at one point got to have a contractor come out and look at a few of the homes with us to kind of give us an idea of like how much would repairs cost, how much would additions cost, how much would all these different ideas that we had cost, and that gave us a really good ballpark of what each home's total investment would be.
I cannot recommend enough having a contractor come out and look at the home that you're considering purchasing and just it's gonna be a super, super rough estimate, but just get a rough estimate on how much renovations and updates and stuff would cost. Because we were able to compare a couple different homes, and that heavily swayed our decision.
Yeah.
Brock.
I'm the birthday boy. You can't blame me for your burps.
Sophia Neal says, when will you guys get to move? What part of Utah? We are moving in mid-June, which I think is like the perfect time. It'll be great weather. We get half of our summer in California. We have so much time to like prepare, and that just feels so much nicer than like getting a house and having to move right away. Like that would be so stressful.
Yeah. Plus, we're gonna get the warm, fun spring, summer months in California, which is gonna be super fun. We're gonna get a little bit of a tan before we move to Utah.
Yeah, and like that's like the warmest month in Utah, I think. So that's nice too. Madison Sierras says, "How was it experiencing the record winter in the trailer?"
You know, as record winter as it was, I feel like it only would have been like a huge challenge if we were in Tahoe or Mammoth. It still wasn't ever like the trailer was really buried. We didn't have to like dig ourselves out. We experienced heavier single day snowfalls and like more challenging weather, I would say, last year in Washington.
I was gonna say, I think last year was harder, partially because we weren't hooked up to electric. So we were relying solely on like solar and propane.
Yeah.
And with the type of winter we had this year, we would have been going through propane every 2 days.
Yeah.
And there was no solar for a lot of the time.
That's a great
So
point.
I actually think this winter was easier. Even in that like 1 or 2 week period where it was like single digits, negatives at night, it was still way more manageable than last winter.
I think another reason it was so much more manageable this winter was just because we were so stationary.
And we were like more experienced, so we were prepared. We had all the tools and everything we needed. We had the routines down.
Yeah. But it was really fun. The powder was great,
so
and the
much
snowboarding
fun.
has been amazing. It's been an awesome winter.
Audacious Coach says, "Is Tay still life coaching?" I am not. For those of you who don't know, I life coach for a 1.5 years, 2 years, primarily focused on like mental health related things, habits, but I am stepping away from that. That started to really drain me. Posting about it on social media was draining me. People really were lacking boundaries, and it impacted me because I was really struggling with like not replying to them or thinking about what other people were going through, and I just wasn't able to cope with that. And a lot of it wasn't on my terms. Like if I was a therapist, I'm prepared going into a session, but instead I'm just opening up DMs, and it was just really, really hard. So I stepped away from that, and I feel a lot happier and way less anxiety with it. It was awesome, and I wish I could continue doing it, but it just wasn't working for me anymore.
I'm proud of you.
I think I want to get more into like the running space. I've been running since I was in 2nd grade. I ran track, D1 track in college. And I think it would be fun to like put my knowledge out there and share the sport with people. Taylor Lynn Carvey says, "Any more dogs?"
Yes, we will get more dogs. We don't have any dog like picked out yet, but I've been promising her that when we have a home with a yard, then we can get more dogs. So our plan is that we're going to foster dogs and probably some cats. And I wouldn't be surprised if we have like a goat or some chickens or something. I don't know.
I would foster everything.
Yeah. So that's our plan. Once we officially have the house and the yard and all that stuff, then yes.
I think fostering makes a lot of sense, and our agreement is if we foster an animal and it becomes super attached to us, or we become super attached to it, or it just like fits in perfectly to our family, we're allowed like one foster fail basically.
Is that what it's called, a foster fail?
A foster
when you
fail.
foster an animal and then you keep it?
Yeah. And that's like our plan as of now. Like obviously that could change. I think fostering is a great option, and we have the means to do it because we work from home. And a rescue in Salt Lake actually just posted that we needed that they need fosters. So I think it's perfect.
Yeah.
Hi Sophia 1 said, "New home plans." A lot. We wanted, I don't want to call it a fixer-upper. It's very livable. It's nice inside, but it's also outdated. We wanted a house that like needed some updating so we could make it 100% our own. So there are some projects that might require a contractor, and so those rooms will just kind of wait to do everything at once. But I think I could like redo the mudroom on my own. I want to build like a few items for the house and like pieces of furniture and stuff. So we have plans like that, like paint the walls, stuff like that.
We've been scouring Pinterest. I'm really excited. I think we're both really excited because it's our first time owning a home. So like you can change things and paint things and nail things in walls and knock out walls if you wanted and not have to worry about the person you're renting from. So we've been scouring Pinterest. Like we already said, we don't move in until June, so we still have a few months, which is kind of nice. We can kind of take our time curating different furniture and just planning out the look for the inside of our home, but I'm really excited.
I'm super excited. Dame Maurice, I think, Esperanza, something. I'm so sorry. Do you plan to just live in one place or keep traveling in the RV? So we kind of touched on that. We are going to keep the trailer for now and see how like the next 6 months or so go, and then go from there, just because we put so much time and effort into it. I think we also really want to start going overseas a bit more, so that is really going to play into it, but we'll see. We're going to keep it for now, and we're still going to be in the house quite a bit.
If I had to crystal ball hypothesis for the next 12 months, I would say probably less trailer travel, but possibly, hopefully, more international travel.
Yeah, and the trailer travel will be like short weekend trips rather than like we're gonna be gone for a month kind of thing.
Yeah.
Running with Elle said, what was one non-negotiable your house had to have?
I'd say one thing that was a non-negotiable is we had to have a decent sized yard and a flat yard at that. Like, it didn't have to be a massive, 5-acre lot, but we had to have a yard that was usable and that the dogs could explore in and they could actually like run around a little bit.
We had to have a minimum of 3 bedrooms. We had to have a decent sized living room because we are very family focused and we want to have our family and friends come visit, and so we want to have space.
In terms of other non-negotiables, I don't think there were
non-negotiables. There were like ideals, like we ideally wanted it to be not a fixer-upper but outdated, and we ideally wanted there to be either like room to
do you want me to say that?
Yeah.
I think what you're going to say is it was not a non-negotiable, but it was quite high up on our wish list that there was either an already existing workout space, room for a workout space, or room to build out and create a workout space.
You're so good with your words.
Thank you. Basically, we wanted a space to work out, especially considering the winters in Utah can get quite cold and snowy, and we might not necessarily want to drive to the gym every single day. So we would love to be able to work out at home if we can.
Yeah. I wouldn't say it was necessarily a non-negotiable, but it was also very, very high up on our list, was certain areas or like certain neighborhoods. Because we were in Utah for so long, we could really explore the state and like figure out what we liked best about each city and neighborhood and stuff like that, which was nice. Author C.N. Janine said, are you leaving California completely?
More or less, yeah. We're establishing residency in Utah. Like Tay said earlier, we hope to eventually one day spend a lot more of the year, a good portion of the year in California. And we hope to eventually one day go back to California. But as of now, especially in terms of legally, yes, we are completely leaving California.
Yeah, we will get residency in Utah. Elizabeth Katie said, interior decoration for the new home.
I think I've been describing it as primarily mid-century modern, but with a little bit of maximalism, at least for me.
In his room.
I like maximalism.
Nowhere else. I get overwhelmed.
But the rest of the home, pretty mid-century modern.
Pretty mid-century modern with a little bit more like wabi-sabi Scandinavian kind of feels. Like, I think mid-century modern can get a little bit brown and beige too easily, and a lot of like harsh lines, and we want something a little bit more organic with a little bit more color to it too. So maybe, I don't know if Scandinavian or wabi-sabi have color, but like that more organic influence as well. And then like pops of color just to keep it happy and fun. Auntie NSNG said, do you think you will garden at your new house? Yes. I've been looking up or like researching what kind of plants and trees and stuff you can have in Utah. Seems like a lot of root vegetables and cherry trees pretty much, but I think it would be fun to have like a little garden or something. I killed our last one, but I'm thinking that's not my fault.
It was an anomaly.
Yeah.
It was something else's fault.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we even already have plans to put some flower beds in so we could do some gardening and planting.
Yeah. Keep the girls Because the girls were eating our old garden, so I think like some raised flower beds might help with my killing plants problem. Natalia, Siepli said, how many of your house needs or wants does your house check off?
I think it checks off all of the non-negotiables, and I think it checks off pretty much all of the wish list as well.
I think it checks off all of them.
I'm trying to think of, I can't think of a box that it doesn't check off.
We sat on the decision for 2 months though.
Yeah, like we said, we took our time.
Yeah, from the first time we saw the house.
Mm-hmm.
Like we really took our time. It's not a small purchase, you know? So we really, even though it had every box, we weren't like, okay, we're gonna offer right away kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Caveman Hands says...
Caveman Hand? That's the name?
Yeah.
Was Caveman...
Hands.
Caveman Hands, okay.
But with a Z.
Caveman Hands.
How do you handle packages or mail if you're on the road and in different locations?
How do you handle packages on the road? Because
He likes those hands.
He's all these hands guy.
We ship them to my parents' house, and then my mom puts them in the guest bedroom, and she has like her own little P.O. box
basically
going.
Yeah, and then we just put a mail hold on anything that would be sent to our apartment.
You can do a USPS mail hold for up to 30 days at a time.
And if we do need something urgently, there's Amazon drop boxes at a lot of Whole Foods and random post offices. The RV resort we were at this winter
accept deliveries, which is super awesome. Holly Spieth said, what is Tay doing for work? I am like the CFO.
Yeah, that's a good way to say.
I handle all of our team members, paying people. I do all the tax stuff, the bookkeeping, like all of that behind the scenes. I schedule most of our trips now. I handle rent and utilities, car registration, like everything on that side of things. I handle the Tay and Brock account like 90% of the time, and all of those DMs, most of the posts.
You handle most of Mila's stuff?
Most of Mila's stuff, and then same with like the YouTube channels as well. I do a lot of like looking at the analytics, scheduling things, etc.
Mm-hmm.
I'm Scott Lawrence said, what are each of your current business goals? Yeah, I think one of our biggest goals this year was to create something together outside of Tay and Brock, like an additional thing together. And I think that was like the biggest business goal. Or goal. I've been up since 5.
Did you want to
sit?
Okay. My biggest business goal right now outside of that is we relaunched our Insta Club Hub Instagram membership, and just really pouring a lot of time and energy and resources into that has been really fun and rewarding. Also trying to build a much stronger sense of community on my personal Instagram. That's kind of my business focus right now.
Brittany Birdie says, do you ever get burnt out from being as busy as you seem to be? I did get burnt out at one point. I kind of touched on it earlier when I was in the more mental health side of things, but it wasn't from the amount of work I was doing. That was like, I looked forward to it. I wanted to do more. It was more of just like handling other people's emotional loads and talking to other people about that like burnt me out because I was unplanned, and it's hard to like walk away from that, you know. So I got burnt out emotionally.
For me, no. I don't think I've ever been burnt out in terms of my work or my social media. Have I?
No.
No.
But we have rules set in place. Like we we do work 7 days a week, but we also don't start work until like 10 or 11 a.m. And we stop work 6 p.m. is like our hard cutoff, and it's usually before then. And I think because we travel so much and we do so many activities, it helps like fill our cup back up if we do have longer or harder weeks.
And then also we can take time off and take vacation days whenever we want. Like this Monday and Tuesday, you know, we're going to take the days off. Or last Thursday we went snowcatting. Like we have the possibility of working 7 days a week. It's more that I would say just like that Saturday and Sunday don't matter as much to us. Because we know that if there's a great snow day on Tuesday, we can say see you later to work and go snowboard. or if we want to like go on a trip for a couple days, we can do that whenever we want. And we can work a little bit from our phone here and there, answer a couple emails here or there, or just completely take the day off.
Erin Nursing Mamas said, how do you decide what to share and keep private on social media?
That's a good question. We actually had a conversation about this earlier today about like what this is going to look like in the future, and if we have a family, like what's going to be our rules around that.
For me, it was different because I didn't grow up with parents who were so public. And so my social was always like a little bit more reserved and private, but I definitely like opened up a little bit. I think for me, it's like if I wouldn't want a total stranger walking up to me on the street and like knowing that about me or asking me about that, then I'm not going to post it on social. So I don't want a total stranger knowing where I live. So I'm not going to share that. But I love sharing like what I'm doing on the weekends, and I love talking about our relationship, and I don't mind people knowing that, so I feel good sharing it.
Yeah, I think the one tough thing for me personally is that we always try to walk that line of being like honest and real and authentic with you guys, but also we don't want to ever talk negatively about each other or show our low points, like each other's low points, or talk about like just negatives and complaining all day. So it's tough to walk that line, but I think we do a pretty honest job about it. And we did a video a couple weeks ago about like the worst parts about trailer life.
Yeah.
But that's a rule for myself.
And then anything that's not related to us or isn't our story to share, we don't share. So like if our siblings or our parents are going through something, we're not going to talk about that because like that's not our place. It is hard to like walk this line of like being vulnerable and relatable, but also like maintaining privacy for your own mental sake. And sometimes like you share personal things and you don't want feedback on that, but people on social media, I think, tend to forget that just because you're posting about it, it doesn't mean that you want advice or feedback or recommendations or whatever. And so that can be challenging. I think like I get a little bit more frustrated than you sometimes of just like, I was just trying to share and now I'm getting all of these DMs and I feel like I have to respond to these and I didn't want this advice kind of thing. Yeah. That can be tough.
Thanks so much for watching. We will continue to update you as best as we can, and you'll probably have a lot of like DIY home renovations to look forward to. But in the meantime, we're just gonna enjoy the next couple months.
Don't forget to subscribe, and if you enjoyed this video, press that thumbs up button. Thanks for watching.
Oh.
What'd you do?
I like flicked this thing when I went to wave.